Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. I want to talk to you a little bit about some strategy tonight. Uh, I've got my own strategy. I know some friends of mine, they have their own strategy when it comes to trading. And so just real important that you have one. And so we're going to kind of look at what a strategy is and some things about a strategy that you might want to think about before you develop your own. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and jump right into it. So your strategy, first thing, it is here, buy low, sell high. We have a lot of folks that say this, but few actually do it. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, to go against the grain when everybody else is, talking about a great stock. You need to buy this stock, it's going up, and that kind of thing. We have a tendency to want to jump into something like that, but we're looking for these things to go down before we buy them. We don't want to buy stock on a 52-week high. There's some that keep going from the 52-week high, but that's a dangerous thing to do when you're buying on the 52-week high, just like buying into the market right now. The market's high, so it's kind of hard to buy into something like that. But we want to buy low, sell high. Again, we don't want to be one of those folks that say that, but not do it. So let's stick to that part of our strategy: buy low, sell high. And that low could be the low for the week. That low could be the low for the day, just depending on what you're trying to do. But always looking for a low point to get in. That's why we want to do that. So we can get it at a discount to start off with. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Know your stocks. Don't listen to hot tips. If you got somebody giving you a hot tip about a stock, you don't want to take something like that. Now, it's okay to take it and study up on it and monitor it for a while maybe and get to know it. But knowing your stocks, not just knowing the company, it's knowing the volumes, it's knowing the resistance levels, it's knowing the support levels, just how it trades, how it goes up and down. You want to just know when the earnings are coming, those kind of things. Any kind of news about the company, you just want to know your stock. Don't pick stocks that you don't know anything about. That can get you in a lot of trouble, and especially if it's a hot tip. So watch out for those. Next, set your price. That's what we do with limit trades. Limits buy, limits sell. Set your price on both the buy and the sell. Understand where you want to get in on that price and put your trade in for that. And understand where you want to get out and put your trade in for that. You're in control of that. There's no need to, put a market order in. That's kind of takes you out of control of things. So be in control of it. Set those limit trades and make sure that you are sure about the price that you want to go in at and sure about the price you want to go out at, because if you sell it, you sell it. You can't give it back. So just know your stock, set your price, and go after it. Okay. Next, don't be greedy. We've talked about this a little bit before. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. That's the same, and that can happen easily. You can miss opportunities if you get greedy. Had it happen to me, where the stock's going up, and you think I'm gonna hold it just a little bit longer because it's going up so good, and then the next thing you know, it's making a turn down, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of selling it because now it's down a little bit from where you thought you should have sold it. So don't be greedy. Set your price. When you do that, understand that percentage of gain that you're going to get, and be happy with that, and don't get greedy with it, because it can get you in a lot of trouble. Greed can. All right. Set goals: weekly, monthly, daily, yearly. I mean, you name it. Always have a goal of some sort. My goals are weekly, monthly, and yearly. Weekly, I like to have a sell and a trade at least once a week, especially a buy. I want to have some purchases within a week. Now, last week, we did not sell anything, but it was a short week, but we still didn't have an opportunity to sell anything. But I did make some buys, and I'll talk about them in my next video tomorrow night. But always, always have a weekly goal. Monthly goals, I have those as well. Monthly goals is based on what amount of money I want to pocket each month. I take out a certain amount of money each month to live off of. So I want to know how much, I've got a goal to pocket a certain amount. I've also got goals for my portfolio to go up and down, certain amounts. A lot of that's kind of out of your control, but that pocketing money, you can control a little bit of that sometimes because, if you've got one in the green, you can hold it a little bit longer if you think you can, if you can get a little bit more money out of it. But the weekly goals and the monthly goals are a little different. You don't have to, you don't have to sweat them so much. Yearly goals, I set yearly goals as well, based off of, what income I know I need for the year, where I want to be at the end of the year. And, those are kind of goals that you want to set out there, understanding your needs and what you need there. Okay, everybody's different. And if you're growing it, it's one thing. Of course, I'm retired now. Of course, I want to grow it, but I'm more focused on maintaining. And so I want to do that. Take some risk out just to maintain what I've got. So here's another one here. Don't chase, don't panic. That's part of that buy low, sell high strategy. Don't chase a stock that's high. If something catches on fire like Tesla had recently, don't just try to jump into something like that. You'll get burned every time just about. And don't panic when you're holding the stock and it goes down. Don't panic. Hang on to that stock, or have your strategy. Your strategy may be to sell a stock when it goes down a certain amount. That's okay. That's what people do. Some people, limit their risk that way. My strategy is I hold those stocks until the cows come home. We've talked about that before. I hold those stocks till they go green, or they go out of business, or something like that, or I finally just get fed up with them. But that doesn't happen very often, like I always say. But don't panic when the stock goes down. If you buy it and it goes down 5% the next day, don't panic about stuff like that. These things go up and down all the time, so you don't want to panic. That should be part of your strategy, and not chasing anything should be part of your strategy. Be flexible. The market's moving all the time, so you have to be flexible. Stocks go up and down. You have to be flexible. You don't always meet these weekly goals. Maybe you need to be flexible with those goals. Adjust accordingly. These things nothing's in stone, especially when it comes to the market. So sometimes if your strategy's not working, maybe you need to adjust it, tweak it a little. Maybe it's being flexible that week with your goals, or maybe it's being flexible with your goals for the month. But be flexible, adjust accordingly. Sometimes if you've had a great week, maybe you want to be a little flexible in the fact that you don't want to try to sell anything else for the rest of the week. Maybe hold some a little bit longer for the next week. Nothing wrong with that if you've had a good week, and if your month's been good, maybe you want to take it easy the next month or something, or be more careful, reduce your risk. Nothing wrong with being flexible based off of the market moves, and based off of how well you've done, or how poorly you've done in the previous week. So always be flexible. None of this stuff is in stone. Monitor your stocks, monitor your results. You got to monitor your stocks to know when to get in, when to get out. You got to monitor their earnings. When are those earnings coming? Because you don't want to buy right before earnings, like we talked about before. Monitor your results. If you're setting goals, then it's very important that you monitor how well you're doing against those goals. Maybe if you're meeting those goals and it's real easy to meet those goals, maybe you want to make them a little bit tougher, or maybe they're too hard to start with. Maybe you need to bring some of your goals into a more realistic range or something. But you want to monitor them. How well are you doing? Sometimes that depends on how you're going to adjust your strategy for the month or for the year, for the week even. So always monitor your results as well. Keep the proper perspective. We did have another video. It's all relative. If you want to go back and watch that one, that talks about this point here. But you know, this is all at a point in time. So that point in time is your perspective. You want to back off on that sometimes. You want to back off from that day, that bad day, get a perspective for the week. The week may have been great, so that puts that bad day in perspective, okay? Same goes for the month or the year. I mean, I don't know a trader out there that hasn't had a bad day, that hasn't had a bad week, that hasn't had a bad month, or hasn't had a bad year. I mean, I don't know anybody that hasn't. So nothing wrong with having a bad day or any of those. It's something that happens. But keep it all in perspective. Keep it all in perspective. And that'll make those bad times go a little bit easier. And this is last but not least, is have fun. I mean, if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it, right? Find something in life that you can have fun at, because we're only here for a little while. So, but have fun. I enjoy it. I get up in the mornings and I'm excited to see what's going on in the market. It's not my top priority. I've got other things that are my top priority. And so, but this is part of the way I have fun every day. Me and my buddy that trades a lot, we talk a lot. You know, we talk about how boring it can be on the weekend sometimes because the market's not open. We're both retired, and you know, that's how we spend our time a lot of time during the day. Goes towards watching the market and doing things like that. But we have fun. We talk to each other about it, and we just have fun with it. So if you're not having fun, then maybe you want a different hobby. Or maybe you want to adjust your strategy. Or maybe you want to, you know, buy at a better price or whatever. You know, you want to make sure you're having fun. If you're not sleeping at night and your stomach's in knots, then this trading stuff is probably not for you, or your strategy's not right. But you want to have fun. There's people that do this for a living, so if you're not having fun and you can't have fun at it, then let somebody else do it for you. But I enjoy it a lot, and I think you will too once you get used to it and see it is rewarding. Can be very rewarding. It's very challenging at the same time. But whatever you do, make sure you have. We're going to have another video tomorrow night. I'm going to post some things about what I did on Friday. We're also going to talk about what we're going to do Monday and take a look at the markets tomorrow night. But be looking for that video as well. But other than that, I hope you've been enjoying the videos. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Tell your friends about it. And have a great rest of your evening. And we'll see you tomorrow night with the other video. Have a great evening. Bye. To subscribe, click the button in the right-hand corner. Thank you.